Welcome back to part 4 of upgrading my small lathe. Before we go to the workshop, I just want to show you these pictures of the lathe. I have measured all the critical dimensions and laid it out in a CAD drawing. And this is helpful for me because I can work on this when I'm away from the workshop. I know this isn't everybody's approach, but for me, I do prefer to have good drawings so that I can think about what I'm going to work on and play around with it on paper before I actually cut metal. And it also enables me to order parts ahead of time, materials I need to buy in, parts I need to buy in. So it also helps with planning. You see here in this view the cross slide as I got the lathe with these rather unusual guideways. Actually the strips were missing, the guide strips were missing. And in this next view you can see the design which I've opted for with dovetails, and you can see the progress that we've made so far. And we're going to go back to the shaping machine now and continue with the second half of the dovetail on this cross slide. I've brought out a drawing with the new dimensions on. So we're going to start by reducing this side of the dovetail. In fact, that will form the chamfer. So actually we're producing the chamfer first, and that will just give us a reference so we can estimate from the width of the chamfer how close we are to finished size. So I'm just going to take that down by 22 thou. So we're looking for 22 thou of depth. Useful here to refer back to the CAD drawing. You can see here the 22 thou that I'm measuring. Okay, we've got 16. So we've got 6 thou to go. Now it's time to cut the shoulder on the left hand side. Okay, I've just remembered I've got to change the clapper box to the other direction. It's set up actually for doing the dovetail at the moment, so we need to switch that round to the other side so that it provides proper clearance. I forgot to do that. Okay, time to rotate the head to 60 degrees. Not 60 degrees from the horizontal, but 60 degrees from the vertical. Better get it right this time. That's 30. And then there. Now this is where we need to rotate the clapper box the other way because we're cutting on the left hand side. We want the tool to sweep away from the work as the clapper box opens. Okay, I'm just swapping over for a different shaped tool so I can finish the dovetail and get right into the corner. We need to take a closer look at this to understand what's going on. When I designed this, I didn't include the radius tool in this corner shown here. I actually showed that as a sharp corner. So I don't want to change the dimensions, so it's necessary to use a sharp nose tool to get right into that corner. The other one's got too large a radius, and I might not clear the taper at the end, so I'm just going to put this in, and it will also enable me to dress up the bottom a little bit, and I'll bring this land here to 1/32. Okay, that groove you can see there is just the remnant of the original groove that was in the component before I put this in, and because I had to adjust the depth on the other side, this is still showing. I'm just going to stop now and measure the length of that land and just see if we've finished that. I re-angled the tool so I can get further into the slot there. We need to make that land a little bit longer. Okay, I think we'll just come in with one finishing cut, and then after I've done that, I will put the radius tool in just to finish that radius off. Okay, just finishing off now with the radius tool to get that radius in the corner. So the dovetails in the cross slide are now complete. It didn't turn out so badly after all, as you can see here. There are a couple of witnesses of the original. Well, one of them is the mistake because I set the top slide at the wrong angle initially, and the other one was always going to be present because I didn't have enough material to get the original slots out. It doesn't matter, there's plenty of surface area for it to operate properly. But in any case, I'm going to treat this as I mentioned before, phase one, using this component to get the lathe operational, and then later on make a proper longer cross slide. What I need to work on now is the gib strip, and I've got a piece of 1.5mm gauge plate here. So we need to cut that to length, and then we need to narrow it and also to chamfer the ends appropriately so it fits in the gib properly. So I'm going to cut this to length now, and we're going to chamfer this in the shaping machine. So I'm just beveling both sides of the gib strip. This is 1.5mm gauge plate. By beveling the edges, we'll get more surface area in contact with the dovetail surfaces. I've already beveled the other edge, so after taking a few cuts I'm just going to check for parallelism and just make any adjustments that are necessary. Cutting throws up some burrs which are just slightly moving, and then just checking for final width. Hopefully we're almost on size now. Yep, that's on size. Closer look at the cross slide and the lands on the dovetail. That's a witness to the original groove, which I knew that I wasn't going to be able to clean out entirely. You can also see those two holes there. We've cut into the tapped holes on the original for the original fixings. That doesn't matter. We're going to move those. It doesn't look very neat, but this is just proof of concept really. You just want to make sure that we can make this slide work, and then later on I'm going to replace this very short top slide with a longer full length one to maximize the location ability of this arrangement. So this is just temporary. We'll see if it works, how it works, and then later on we will replace it with a full length one. Sorry, it goes that way actually. So while we've got this out, let's just have a look at how we can use pins to precisely measure a dovetail. So we can put pins in here, and this is a dimension I indicated on my drawings, and by measuring across the pins we can precisely determine the width of the dovetail. So I've included 2 1/4" diameter pins in the neck or the corner of the dovetail, and shown also the dimension there, 1.766 inches. So that's what I'm measuring here. Now that of course assumes that we've done a number of things. Number 1, that we have the correct angles, and number 2, the distance between here and here is precisely controlled, and I made sure of that when I machined this, and it came out very close to what I had hoped for. The next point is finishing off the gib strip. So the gib strip fits in there, and so it's come out nicely. We've got just the right clearance, a very small clearance there, which will be taken up of course with the set screws. All we need to do now is open up these holes for the set screws for tapping 4BA. But before we do that, we want to use this arrangement to spot through onto the gib strip as I have here with this first hole, so that we have 4 precisely located holes along the length, so that the set screws will stop the gib strip from moving, or yes, in fact stop it from moving, because it's fixed with the fixed part of the assembly. Now these set screws came with these kinds of ends here. I can't really call them now. I actually wanted pointed ends, so what I've done is cut one to length, and I have I've cut one to length, and I've turned that down to 95/96 thou, the same diameter as the drill we're going to use, with the same 120 degree point on the end. so that it will nicely locate in the dimple on the gib strip, and of course it will be at an angle like that. Now the depth of that has to be precisely controlled. It doesn't want to be too shallow so it doesn't give location. It doesn't want to be too deep, otherwise it's going to go right through. As always, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and you can see here exactly what I mean. So it's a little bit delicate, but we'll do all that before we drill through with the tapping size and tap these out. So we'll go over to the drill and complete that operation. Because I've already spotted through onto the gib strip, I want to use this first set screw to locate the gib strip accurately for the remaining 3 holes. So first of all we need to tap this hole. So I'm just going to open it up and then we'll tap that. I've now remounted the gib and put the set screw in, so it's gripping the gib strip against the cross slide. So now we can drill out these 3 holes and know that all 4 set screws are going to be properly located in the gib strip. I've also set the depth stop quite precisely so that the drill comes down to the gib strip, doesn't go through it, but yet leaves a sufficiently large hole for the set screw to locate in. So we can open those out now. Since tapping such fine threads is quite tedious and you have to be very careful you don't break the tap, there's no need to go through this whole thickness with a 4BA thread. So I'm going to relieve this with a clearance diameter down to here, just to make the tapping process easier. So I'm going to do the remaining holes like that and then we'll tap. That feels parallel and there's room there for adjustment should we need it. I think we can safely say that we can move on to the next part of this project. I hope you join me for the next video, hopefully to come out within 2 weeks or 10 days. Thank you.